Hello and welcome to a brand new season of Real Health. I'm Michael Porter. Hopefully you've been keeping well and are ready for more exciting and insightful discussions to help you along your health journey. So let's dive right in as we delve a little bit deeper into the topic of the gut. We're routinely reminded to eat vegetables, whole foods and fibre as a vital part of our diet for a healthy gut. Despite the message, inflammatory bowel disease is on the rise, as well as irritable bowel syndrome and also leaky gut. A recent article by the Medical School of the University of Washington talks about the benefits of butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that helps in the prevention and treatment of these gut conditions. And Dr. Paulo de Valdelarios is back in the studio to explain the ins and outs of butyrate's essential action in your gut. So Paulo, let's start with a quick recap of what we're talking about when we talk about the gut and its function in the body.
Well, the gut is an immensely interesting part of our bodies. It is technically outside the body. In other words, within the lumen of the system, all the pipes, the stomach, all the way to the back, that is outside the real body, if you understand what I mean. There's oxygen there, one could theoretically travel through. So it is very important, obviously, because it is the first organ that receives what we eat. All right. It is the organ that needs to break up what we eat into substances, into shapes, into sizes that will be prepared to be absorbed. Most of the immune system is present in the gut. It has to deal with what is coming in. It has to recognize it as something that is not harmful, for example. The production of neurotransmitters takes place in the gut by one of the very important parts of it, which is the population of bacteria, friendly bacteria, our microbiota, without which we could not live physically. All right. So there's a whole lot of reasons why the gut is very important.
Right. And a fundamental aspect of keeping the gut healthy, which we taught from the youngest days in school in terms of what we eat, is the importance of fibre in your diet. Why is it that fibre is so important for this system that we're talking about?
Well, there are two broad types of fibre. There's insoluble fibre and soluble. The insoluble fibre gives bulk to the stool and it increases transit time so that the stools move through the pipes of the gut at the proper speed.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That type of fibre is not normally, it is not fermented by the bacteria, okay, or not much of it is fermented by bacteria in the gut. Then we've got soluble fibre, which is divided into a few other groups, but soluble fibre is primarily fermented by the bacteria. In other words, it is a food source for the bacteria, and in eating it, so to speak, it is fermented, and from that the bacteria produce a number of nutrients, including the short-chain fatty acids that you spoke about.
Okay.
So short-chain fatty acids, there are basically three of them: acetate, propionate, and butyrate. So fibre is very important because it ensures microbial diversity and the production of postbiotics, substances such as the short-chain fatty acids.
All right. So let's hone in then on butyrate. I mean, what is that as a short-chain fatty acid? What is it doing, and how does it help in the prevention or management of certain diseases?
Okay, so butyrate is a short-chain fatty acid, as we've mentioned, and it is produced by certain gut bacteria, friendly bacteria in the gut. And in the gut, it has a number of functions. One of them is that it modulates the immune system of the gut. It makes sure that certain cells called regulatory T cells are performing their job properly. It makes sure that inflammation is lower than otherwise it would have been. It also plays a major role in the barrier gut function. So of all the short-chain fatty acids, it is the only one that signals for the production of proteins which are part of the tight junctions between the cells of the gut.
Right, so that's the leaky gut situation.
Yes, that's a leaky gut situation. Then the cells of the gut use butyrate as an energy source.
Okay.
Up to 80% of their energy comes from butyrate, which is very, very, very important. And also butyrate exerts an antibiotic antimicrobial effect on pathological bacteria that are present in the gut and shouldn't be living there.
Okay.
So for all these reasons, butyrate is very important, and a deficiency of butyrate is implicated in the development and progression of irritable bowel syndrome and leaky gut.
Okay. So you mentioned there that it sort of controls the proliferation of certain bacteria, the bad bacteria. So how effective is butyrate at managing the microbiota in the gut? I mean, is that a fundamental function of it as well?
Yes, yes. So it has an effect on the diversity of the microbiota in the gut, which ultimately is managing the populations, the different populations of microbiota, through a number of different mechanisms. One of them is what I've just mentioned, that so it is used as an energy source by the cells that line the inside walls of the colon, for example. So when these cells burn through butyrate, they become hypoxic. In other words, oxygen is burnt out. So there is no oxygen there, which is the perfect place for anaerobic bacteria. Okay, and anaerobic bacteria are crucial for a healthy gut. These bacteria do not require oxygen to live. So burning butyrate ensures an environment without oxygen, which is what is needed. If butyrate is not there in sufficient amounts, then the cells, to generate energy, need to burn glucose. When they burn glucose, the levels of oxygen increase up to about 10%. And that means the anaerobic bacteria can no longer thrive because they can't live in oxygen.
Yes.
But worse than that, it means that a certain group of bacteria, we call them facultative bacteria, meaning they can live in both worlds, with or without oxygen.
They're amphibious in a way.
Yes. They can thrive, and these are usually pathogenic, such as E. coli. All right. So that is why butyrate is very important, because its presence ensures that the right bacteria are there, therefore managing the populations.
What are some of the diseases that a deficiency of butyrate might result in?
Well, a short answer is that 90% of body cells have receptors for butyrate. So butyrate is absorbed, like the other short-chain fatty acids, through the gut into the rest of the body. It has many functions, primarily in chronic inflammation-related diseases. So rheumatoid arthritis and allergies, for example. In the brain, neurodegeneration, Parkinson's, even implicated in insomnia and anxiety. Diabetes type 2 is a very good example. So research has been done where diabetics type 2 were given butyrate and no diabetic drugs, and the other group was given diabetic drugs. The results were similar.
Fascinating.
Another area which is currently being researched and which has shown positive effects for butyrate is long COVID, so-called long COVID. So it is implicated, or it is necessary for the prevention of many conditions.
So I mean, obviously the essential question to be asking now is, how does one ensure that you have sufficient production of butyrate in your system?
Well, there are fortunately two ways. So the first way is the one we've mentioned. You must have the microbiota, or the bacteria in the gut that produce short-chain fatty acids. And then you must provide the correct type of fiber so that it can be fermented and they can produce butyrate. So the correct type of fiber, you can eat the fiber, for example. So soluble fiber such as inulin is found in garlic, in onions, in bananas, for example. So it's the usual message of a balanced diet with fruits and vegetables and so on. Or otherwise, you can take a prebiotic. Now, certain people don't agree with some certain prebiotics. It depends on which the prebiotic is in terms of their gut. In other words, some people feel flatulence and a little bit of bloating. But either way, if you provide the right bacteria with the right fiber, they will produce butyrate. That's the one option. The second option is to use a direct butyrate generator. So there's a substance known as tributyrin. Tributyrin is found naturally in butter, for example. It's a triglyceride. It's a form of fat. So when you consume it, what happens in the gut is that the enzymes that break down fat, lipases, will break apart this tributyrin. On the one hand, they will form butyrate. There you have the butyrate without the action of the microbiota. Nothing was fermented. And the balance is called glycerol, which is used as a prebiotic, as food for the bacteria.
So it's a perfect package in a way.
So those
you've got to eat a lot of butter to achieve that, so we can't focus on that.
Presents a little bit of a problem in terms of food,
Right, so Dr. Paulo, in terms of butyrate, we've put a product from Phytoceutics called Bettergut into our Real Health Medicine cabinet. Now, is this in itself a butyrate generator?
Yes. So that contains tributyrin. All right, so it contains tributyrate, which will, as I've explained, will be broken down by the gut into butyrate. So it will produce butyrate independent of the composition of your gut microbiota.
Okay.
So independent, or regardless of what type of friendly bacteria you currently have populating your gut, this will produce butyrate. Okay, so it's very important from that point of view. So in this particular product, they've added something known as sun fibre, a patented combination of guar and acacia fibers, which are proven prebiotics.
Right.
So that they've added prebiotics. So you have the tributyrate, which is going to be transformed into butyrate by your gut, and then you've got some prebiotics which will feed the bacteria in your gut, allowing them to produce more butyrate.
Okay.
It has also been tested in clinical trials where people have taken tributyrate together with a normal prebiotic, friendly bacteria, and there is a synergistic effect.
Right.
Okay. So yes, it is a butyrate generator.
Okay. And a product like this, I mean, how frequently should you be taking it? How long is the period of time before you see results from it?
It really depends on the condition. So if you've already been shown to have irritable bowel syndrome or a leaky gut, for example, then of course your intake would be different in terms of length. The expectation of results would also be different, because if the tight junctions between cells are defective, well, they've got to be rebuilt. So that is a period of time, and nobody knows how long that takes, because there are so many other factors involved. So again, you ideally, it all depends on what condition one is looking at, treating. Generally speaking, everyone across the board would benefit from supplementing butyrate. So butyrate would be beneficial. One could cycle it. You could do it every second month. In terms of specific therapeutic applications with specific desired end results, then that, as I say, has to be taken on a person-by-person basis.
And is there anybody who should be cautious when taking a product like this, or any contraindications?
No, not really. Keep in mind, butyrate, or the short-chain fatty acids, even the other two, are not found in food. They have to be produced by the gut bacteria. So if your gut bacteria are not producing sufficient butyrate, you just don't have it.
Right. And is this freely available over the counter, easy to access?
As far as I understand, it's available in health shops and pharmacies.
Great. Paulo, thank you so much. As always, great to chat to you. I must say, I know about the gut, but I've learned some new things today, so thank you for your info.